Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm LaFrey, and around here we talk about all the things that relate to us being the women that God called us to be. So whether you are a woman that's in waiting, a woman who is in transition, you're in the right place. So I'll get into why we're here. I started to feel some uncomfortability. I went into preterm labor. I was bleeding internally. They had to rush me into surgery. And all of a sudden I wasn't pregnant anymore. There was a time where I thought that my body was just not going to do what God had created it to do. I'm not even sure when my mindset changed. There was a point in time where it didn't really matter to me either way. You know, if I had kids, great. If I didn't have kids, okay. But eventually my confession changed into, I really want to be a mom. But for me, it just was not happening. So in the spring of 2021, when me and my husband got pregnant for the first time, I was excited. I was scared, but I was very excited. So you can imagine my devastation when all of a sudden I wasn't pregnant anymore. At 17 weeks, I went into preterm labor and we lost our son. That was indescribable, to be honest. And they didn't have a reason why. No one could tell me what was going on. Was it something in my body? No one could tell me anything. But what they did say is whenever you feel ready, whenever you're up to it again, go ahead and try again. There's nothing stopping you. And so that is what we did. And then the same year in December, we were pregnant again. At about 5 weeks, I started to feel some uncomfortabilities again. But this time, I had determined that because I had been in and out of the ER, in and out of the doctor's office, I just didn't want to do that. I feel like it was a mistake, but I felt like if I'm not in pain, if I'm not bleeding or, any of the things that they caution you about, I'm not going to the doctor. I'll wait till my first appointment. About a week after that, I almost blacked out in my bathroom. And that's when I was like, okay, let's go to the ER. We were snowed in. My husband had to shovel us out of the snow so that we could make it up the hill and go to the hospital. Got to the hospital and found out that the pregnancy was ectopic and the embryo had implanted in my fallopian tube and the tube had burst. And also there was a blood vessel in the lining of my small intestines that also ruptured. And so it was a crazy time. I remember the nurse saying, "We're just surprised that you're conscious. We don't see how you're even awake right now." They were the sweetest people. They really were amazing. The surgery went well. They had to remove my fallopian tube. And that's when they gave me the statistics, which was with your age and your medical history, you have a 33% chance of getting pregnant again. So there wasn't no chance, just a slim chance. They said there is still a chance that the ovary that does not have a fallopian tube can still produce an egg that produces a baby. Still, slim chance. But we're not saying that there's no chance. But God will wreck a statistic. In the spring of 2023, we got pregnant with Amos. Somebody turn to your neighbor and say, "So you're saying there's a chance?" And at our first ultrasound, the tech was looking around and making sure everything was good to go. And she says, "Wow, I can tell what ovary this baby came from." Yep. From the one, from the small chance side, he sure did. And she was just like, "Wow, this miracle baby is supposed to be here." We knew that. But here's the thing. After all of that, after all the waiting, after all the praying, after all the fasting, after all the crying, after all the things, I had my son, but I looked around at my life and I realized that there were still areas that were barren. And that's when I felt it. I heard it. I sensed it. Girl, you got to get up. Go on ahead and get up. And so I introduce to you the UnBarren Girl. The UnBarren Girl is not just for moms. It's for any woman who has felt unproductive, who has felt unseen, who has felt stuck. This is a space where we talk about confidence and discipline and focus and faith. This is the place where I remind you that you are called to produce not just children, but ideas and purpose and businesses. You're called to produce. Maybe you are a mom and you're trying to figure yourself out outside of nap schedules and diaper changes. Maybe you're not a mom, but you just feel like, I just need to refocus. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe you are a person that just feels like, you know what? I am tired of caring about what other people think about me. And let me tell you something. If anybody can understand that, your girl can understand that. So let's get up together. This is the UnBarren Girl. Welcome.